Namo Phat. Good morning. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The fifth mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I vow to cultivate good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society, by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will ingest only items that preserve peace, well-being, and joy in my body, in my consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family and society. I am determined not to use alcohol or any other items that contain toxins, such as certain TV programs, magazines, books, films, and conversations. I am aware that to damage my body or my consciousness with these poisons is to betray my ancestors, my parents, my society, and future generations. I will work to transform violence, fear, anger, and confusion in myself and in society by practicing a diet for myself and for society. I understand that a proper diet is crucial for self-transformation and the transformation of society. We're continuing to read a book by the nuns of Amaravati called The Body, Dhamma Reflections on Aging, Illness, and Death. We're in a Dhamma talk by Ajahn Candasiri called Growing Old Gracefully. This is a section beginning with Keeping the Heart Sweet. Of course, we may actually have taken on more than we can complete. This too requires a mindful response and a willingness to take responsibility. If we have a large number of things to do, instead of acknowledging what is happening, that we've taken on more than we can reasonably handle, we may find ourselves blaming somebody else or blaming the system. So we blow up at someone. I can't do all this. Can't you see how I've got far too much to do? It may be that the person who asked you wasn't aware you had too much to do, that they weren't intending to torture you. They simply hadn't realized. This is something else that is useful, to be attentive so as to notice irritation, anger, and ill will as they arise. To return to the theme of how we can prepare for old age, this too can be part of our aging strategy, learning how to recognize irritability and ill will before they come tumbling out and hurt somebody, trying to keep the heart sweet. Everybody wants to look after a sweet old man or a sweet old lady, but looking after a sour old lady is a very different proposition. So as a matter of enlightened self-interest, we should look at how we can cultivate sweetness of heart. Obviously, one way we can do this is to be attentive and notice when the heart is not sweet, when it is sour. This happens to everybody. I don't imagine there's anyone here who doesn't sometimes get sour and nasty inside. I know many of you have become very skilled at not allowing it to pour out. But I'm sure that even for those of you who have really cultivated an attitude of kindliness and beautiful speech, there are still moments of irritability and criticism of yourself or somebody else. We really need to take an interest in this. I talk about it a lot because it's so unpleasant to have a nasty thought, a mean thought, to feel critical and judgmental. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me this morning.